The party
Guys,
was lame to me.
Theory.
Theory.
This is the fun.
Yeah.
So they're trying to track him down. Mora's at the party.
I just want to say, you are never allowed to pick the freaking theme for anything again. Okay. Albuquerque, fire truck. We're just yelling out words now? What's going on here? Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of BS Drunk Movie Reviews. This is a weekly podcast, and we do upload the video version of this to our YouTube channel, so be sure to check us out there. My name is Matt, and as always, I am being joined by my co-host and sister, Vetta.
Hi, guys.
How you doing, dude?
Good.
That's good. And on this episode, we are talking with our special guest, the Fat Mantis. Mantis, how you doing, buddy?
I am living the dream, and thank you very much for having me. I always feel honored when you invite me on.
Oh, we love having you on.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, sorry I interrupted you. You were saying something nice.
No, I was just saying. It's always a good time here, and I think we're gonna have fun, especially with these movies.
Yeah, we are. All right, and the movie he is talking that we're going to review right now is the movie Hustlers from 2019. But before we get into the movie, we're going to ask the most important question of the night, and that is, what are you drinking? And Mantis, since you're our guest, we're going to start with you. What are you drinking tonight?
So I am a Chardonnay bitch.
Right on. Hey, no need to apologize.
I'm a 6'1" bald big dude who likes to put ice in his Chardonnay. So
right on.
But it's buttery Chardonnay tonight. So.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. Sometimes you don't have time to put it in the fridge. It's okay.
Right.
Vetta, what are you drinking tonight?
I am drinking a Minneapolis Hustler.
Nice. What's in that?
Sweet vermouth, bourbon, orange. I always say it wrong. I don't want to say it wrong because you'll turn it into a short Carousel.
There
you go. And cool. Lime juice.
Oh, nice. All right, so I'm going back to my season 1 days when I used to drink wine, everyone. So, but I've made it a rule: if they drink wine in the movie, I drink wine for the podcast. So I'm having a Moscato because it's sweet, like me. And then for my backup,
is Moscato really a wine? I feel like that's don't
ask why, but dry. Anyways, so and then for backup, I have a White Claw. You know how I am.
Oh yeah, my backup's a Monaco as always.
Nice. As always. All right, so. As I was saying before, we are going to be reviewing the movie Hustlers because Mantis picked it. Now, Hustlers, working as a stripper to make ends meet, Destiny's life changes forever when she becomes friends with Ramona, the club's top money earner. Ramona soon shows Destiny how to finagle her way around the wealthy Wall Street clientele who frequent the club. But when the 2008 economic collapse cuts into their profits, the gals and 2 other dancers devise a daring scheme to take their lives back. Now, Mantis, you picked this movie, and I just was wondering why you picked this movie.
Okay, so it has always been on my radar, and the absolute main reason is I love Lily Reinhardt, who plays Betty on Riverdale.
Yep.
And so I have such a crush on this girl. But let's face it, Hustlers was never a top priority movie, so I just never got around to seeing it.
Right on.
And so I was like, you know what? It's about time to take that off my checklist.
And let's be honest, in this movie, her character Annabelle would kill it in a strip club. Like this whole character would, because she's that sweet little girl next door, innocent, blonde hair, blue eyes, who vomits at anything that could upset her.
I have to disagree. I like the Asians and the Russian
but
horse.
You always have, so that's nothing new for you. I mean, honestly, if it were me in a strip club, I would be going for J-Lo. So I'm sorry.
Hey, to each their own taste. Okay, right. I wanted to ask one more question before we get into this movie. One, okay, it's a 2-parter. Have you been to a strip club? And what's your best story from the strip club? Mantis, we'll start with you since you're our guest.
So here's the thing. I think this is just generally who I am. So
I
when
love it
was young-
already.
yeah,
I know.
When I was younger. So here's basically what it is. In high school, I did the whole like you sneak into a strip club thing, and I found it disgusting. And I left early, right?
Oh, okay.
And then later on, I became a frat boy in college. And like,
Right.
what do frat boys do when they're not drinking? They're at a strip club, and like
Yeah,
I'm
you
expected to be
are.
at strip clubs. But I find them so gross, like on every level. I think that maybe I just kind of like I like a more modest woman, really. So
Right on. Okay, that's okay.
I've never had a good experience involved with the whole stripping thing.
Okay. All right. Fine. Cool. Vetta, what about you?
Well, I have been to both the male strip clubs and the female strip
Why
clubs.
don't you tell the female strip clubs? Nobody wants to hear about the male strip clubs.
I was gonna say the male strip clubs not as fun as the female strip
Yeah,
clubs.
they're not as fun. Tell the female strip club.
So because I spent most of my 20s pregnant, I didn't get out and do the whole party thing. I mean, I did go to college, but I didn't do anything until I was in my 30s.
Vetta, we don't need your setup. We need the story. Get to the meat. Come
Fuck
on.
you whore.
Okay, fine. Go ahead. Give us the.
So
give us the-
anyways, I used to go to the strip club with a bunch of guys, including my husband, and I'm not gonna lie, I love a female strip club because they are fun.
They are fun.
They are fun. I mean, the ladies
get to your
are
story.
fun, and they're so much more fun when there's a woman in a group of guys.
Yes, they are.
They are so much fun.
They
So
are so
one
much
time
more
the
fun.
guys, for fun, thought it would be funny to get me a dance in the champagne room.
Nice.
I had no freaking clue what that was, and I'm not joking
Mm-hmm.
you. At this strip club, they like have you like lay down on like a couch, and they pretty much just dry hump the shit out of you.
Yes, they do.
And it was, I'm not joking, it was a Latina woman that was like my size. She had curves, everything. She was beautiful. Loved it. I say,
Right on.
you know, if you're into it, do it all. What about you?
Okay, first, you're a horrible storyteller. Okay, so
I am.
mine
We've
is
been
just
over
okay.
this many times.
so
Nothing new.
mine is just I'll just wrap this up real quick with mine. Asian stripper, totally fucking hot. She was like, doing the bump and grind on my crotch and everything. Of course, I had a boner, and then she did the thing that strippers do where she like pushed her knee up against my boner, and then I gave myself a silver dollar. So that is my story. So let's get into this movie, you guys. So now this movie's. Go ahead.
Before you go, so basically the three of us have like almost no experience that is expressed in this movie, right? And so these people who frequent the hell out of strip clubs, right?
Yeah, I mean, I did in my 20s when I was way younger. I would go to the strip club. There's the one that's still open in our town. I would go there like all the time, but I don't go there anymore. I'm boring. So, and plus, strip clubs are a big waste of time. You just get a boner, and you just want them to like put their knee on your crotch, so you come in your pants and everything. And then, and what's the point? Like, kind of like, might as well just
all this money, just
all this money, Although I have comments about this strip club because they get some of the strip club stuff like on point for this. I'll explain when we get to it. Okay, now we start out with Lucy Liu here. I'm joking that she's not Lucy Liu. This is Constance Wu. She's playing Destiny. Now, Destiny is our main character of this movie. And this is like her first night of the strip club and everything. So
she worked at Sin City.
Which
sounds like it was like a step down.
Right on.
But before all of this, I'm wondering, and I was still wondering by the end of the film, and I didn't bother to look it up. Is this based off of a true story? Because it seems like it is. Okay.
Yes. It is.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, so Destiny, which is totally a stripper name. Okay. My favorite part about this first part is she goes up on stage and they're introducing all the new girls. And you know how you can tell these are the new girls? They're carrying their purses with them. They're all carrying their purses.
They don't do anything to entice someone to want to purchase something from them.
Exactly. So we get all these guys, we get Robert here, whatever his name is, and he goes to the back champagne room. And I love how she's just like kind of like grinding up on his boner and everything. I'm like, yeah, that's how you do it, Lucy Liu. That's what Daddy wants to see and everything. So and she's dancing and everything. And I just want to say, okay, so she ends her night, right? And now I want to say before we get to this, she Constance Wu, the actress, she's kind of an asshole in real life. She did not show her titties not once. Like, I'm sorry, if you are in a stripper movie, J-Lo, Constance Wu, you need to pop a big fat nip.
Oh,
Okay,
Well,
or
actually,
don't
the
know.
four main strippers, the four main characters that get into everything, they never show anything.
Yeah,
they don't. But I will say this though. I will say this: J Lo could work a pole like nobody's
Yeah,
business.
you are
Well,
absolutely
she
correct.
did a lot
And even for
preparing
her
for this
age.
role.
Yeah, and even for her age,
Oh,
I
she
was
looks
like,
amazing
Her
for her
legs were
age.
looking
hell
good. You know
yeah.
what I
Yeah,
mean?
she
Like,
yeah.
so at least we got
I'd
that
still
from
fuck her.
her. But
Yeah,
I
no,
agree
yeah,
with
yeah.
you. The others showed nothing. You know, I don't think
Yeah.
I was hoping Lily Reinhardt would show something.
Yeah, you got to. If you're in a stripper movie, you got to even. Well, okay, we'll get into it. Okay. So she gets paid out for the night, right? And then this guy, he's all like, you got to do what you got to do, and she gives him a 20, paying him for the thing. And then this guy right here is all like, you want to keep working that VIP and everything, so she has to give him a 20, and she leaves with like $62, which I was like, that's so sad, and everything. So.
Yeah.
Which
So
has
she's
to be an
sitting here-
exaggeration. That's an exaggeration of the poverty of a stripper. Strippers make better money than that.
For sure. Yeah. I've actually went that strip club that I was talking about before. I've actually seen them in real life. Seen one of the strippers in real life, and they do pay for stuff in ones. I'll tell you that right now. She paid for a coffee at Starbucks. Yeah. It was pretty. I was just like staring at her the whole time.
Honest, though, that's anyone in the service industry that gets tips.
I mean, that's true, but I knew this chick was a stripper because I remembered her from the strip club because I had been there so often. And I know every time she wanted to do a private dance or whatever, where you like gave her $5 or whatever for like 20 seconds of a song, she would always be like, spread them, bitch. She always called the men bitch. And I'm all like, that's an insecure woman right there. Okay.
Like, small little side story. So I've been to the strip club in your town, and they used to, I don't know if they do anymore. They had a women's side and a men's side. And we went to the men's side because it was for your wife's bachelorette party. And I learned that night that a lot of men and women married couples work at them at the same time, because the woman was on the break and her husband were sitting at the bar, and he was working the bachelorette party, and she had just left for her 15-minute break and came to his side.
That
and
is so sweet.
And he goes,
sweet.
oh yeah, there's a couple of us married couples that this is what we do on our breaks. And I'm like,
it's just like the porn industry.
right?
Right on.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's not the same strip club, but okay. All right, we're gonna move on. All right. So she's getting jealous of these ladies, and she leaves the club, and she's all sad, and she's given the $62 that she got to her grandma, and her grandma's all like, "Oh, you take so care of me." I'm like, that is kind of sweet, Destiny. I like that. So she's going back to the club and everything.
The one thing that I always thought that was weird, it actually is not played out in the movie, is I thought that like the reason the main character was Asian would have played some sort of role, and it really has nothing to do with anything.
No.
Nope.
Yeah. I thought that she was, because she was an Asian immigrant, this was somehow going to play into it, or we're going to see the family dynamic. So, what does her grandmother think of this?
She's got family issues and wants to be loved.
Yeah, and that's it. Just like everybody. She could have been really any ethnicity, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
It's so diverse and inclusive. Anyways, so that's what I love about strip clubs. They're so diverse and inclusive.
Yeah.
Okay,
no
so
one
then we
discriminates when they get to see titties.
Exactly. Oh, I definitely don't discriminate. Anyways, okay, so then we get the main lady, Ramona, and she's doing her thing up on stage, and she is working that pole, you guys. She is like Mantis said before, she knows how to work it. She's very good at this, and I'm like, and they're just throwing money at her. They're just throwing money into it. She's bathing in it like she's an African trying to cure herself from AIDS. And so Lucy Liu is just completely enamored with her, right? She's just like, oh my God, I wish I could be her.
I'm not going to lie. At one point, I thought they were going to become lovers because of this whole thing.
I'd watch that.
And you know what's funny? I didn't think they were going to become lovers, but I did think that Constance Wu had a lesbian crush on her, and that dynamic was going to play out. And it never went there, but it did seem like throughout the entire film, it almost seems like she's in love with her.
Oh, for sure, 100%.
Yeah. So she meets her up on the roof, which I just got to say, this coat is absolutely amazing. I was like, ooh, I want one.
The fur coats in this movie for everyone are just,
yeah.
Yep, I'm going to buy one tomorrow. Okay, so she's like, maybe you could teach me how to do a couple things. She's like, oh yeah, I could teach you how to do a couple things. You're going to be
and we can work together.
Exactly. It's like a fraternity / sorority. You have a big, And this was
And
her
a
big.
little.
Right,
Yeah, and
yeah.
a little, and this is her big. My big was a dick hole. Okay, so anyway, so it's okay. He's fat and
Yeah,
divorced.
no, my
Anyways.
big was a yeah, he was basically a stay at home or stay in bed big, which means he didn't teach me crap.
Yeah,
I got nothing out of him. However,
exactly.
to both my littles, I was amazing.
Right on. I never had a little. I didn't stay in it long enough. Okay, so anyway, so we get this. We're in the future now, right? Because we go back and forth because Lucy Liu here is telling this story and this through her narrative, and she's talking to a reporter who
she looks completely different than she does in this whole movie.
I thought
looks
she
super suburban.
That's what I thought. I thought she'd be married and maybe have another kid, with like a husband who doesn't know her stripper ways and everything. But no, not so much. Exactly.
Well, no,
that's what I thought.
In the same neighborhood that she lived in with the little girl, because that house in the back window is the same house.
Oh, okay.
So
well, look at you.
What we are ultimately doing. What's funny is we are ultimately writing a better movie than a movie we saw. But I do think a lot of these plot angles, if we had put them in, would have been a more compelling.
Yeah, it would have been.
Matt and I do that a lot.
We do that a lot with this podcast. Okay, so she's being interviewed by Julia Stiles, which I was all like, "Oh my God, Save the Last Dance! If you could just do that whole thing on stage, that would be amazing."
Why isn't she a stripper? Come
exactly.
on.
I paused. Wait, hold on. I paused the movie when I see the reporter's face, and I'm like. I used to be obsessed with Julia Stiles back in the 90s.
Yeah,
she was like my it girl, right? And it's weird, and I was hoping that that role would be. I'm like, oh, this role must be big. Something important would happen, and it never gets big.
It never gets big, but I was hoping that she would at least mention that she's like, I used to do a little bit of dancing, at Juilliard or whatever the fuck school she went to.
That would have been amazing if she
that would have been so good.
Just a little from an old movie.
Just a reference would have made me happy. Okay, so anyways, Ramona is teaching Destiny how to work the pole, and she's doing, she's like, this is called the champagne, this is called the top table or whatever it's fucking called, this is called the mermaid and everything, and then in walks Cardi B. Now I'm like, oh my God, Cardi B. She used to be a stripper and a total whore. She's all like, show her how to do a lap dance. And she's like, you got to work it slow and everything. And I'm all like, I mean, I guess for some. Anyways, so the night comes and she's introducing her to all the ladies and everything. And they're like, we're gonna work this shit and everything.
And they're being way nicer to her tonight than they were the night before because she's with Ramona.
Exactly. And you know what gets me is they in this part they're talking about how their men are all like jealous because they're strippers and everything, and they're like, and then Cardi B's all like, mine comes with batteries. I'm like, don't be weird, Cardi. Okay, you don't just pull out a vibrator in front of all your friends. Like that's so
and
weird.
Who carries their vibrator around in their purse?
Well, I mean, if you're a sex worker, you might, right?
Dirty horse. That's who does it.
Yeah, and then also, you know what? An interesting connection with Cardi B is, Cardi B has admitted in an interview that when she was a stripper, she used to drug men and rob their pockets.
Yep.
Yes.
So it's crazy that she was willing to be in this movie.
Yes.
That just condemns her further, right?
Well, and we actually see more of Cardi B, and here in a minute we'll see another big name. We see more skin from them than we do from the four main characters.
Exactly.
Right.
And I just also want to say I do love Cardi B, but I was like, Cardi B, you need to. I mean, like, come on, you could be a little bit classy.
But she didn't really play a role in this movie. She just was herself.
Yeah, exactly. She's a terrible actress, but she was just playing herself, so it's fine. Okay, so then they go out on the club floor, and Ramona's teaching her about the different types of men from Wall Street, because those are the men that got the money, and you get the low level ones who they don't make the money. So they'll spend
what little money they have.
You're right. Yeah, because they don't do anything to get them. They don't do anything risky to get the money, so they're not willing to risk anything. So, and for them, all you got to do is dance. Then you get the middle guys, right? And they're willing to risk a little bit, right? So you just kind of take their money and everything. But then you get the big dogs, right? And the big dogs, they come in through the private elevator. They get the room that doesn't have the cameras.
And this actor, by the way, he's always playing an asshole.
Yeah, he is. He's so creepy. Like his name is Frank Wally and everything, the actor. But he's playing a character named Reese, and I was like, oh, he just looks like a Reese and everything. He's just so creepy.
But there's never a movie that you go, he's such a nice guy.
Right,
never.
Yeah, exactly.
Root against.
Exactly. And I love how he's popping gum right here. Super annoying. I was annoyed this whole time. I was like, if you
I
pop
didn't
that
mind
gum
the
one more
chewing
time.
of the gum. I got
Oh.
annoyed when he blew the fucking bubble.
Yeah,
I
when
was
he
like,
was
what are you,
popping it,
12?
yeah, exactly. And he's just throwing down hundreds and shit. Or that's a 50. Same thing and everything. So, and they're getting topless and everything, which is nice. And I loved this part right here because Ramona, she shoves her money in her boot, in her big ass hooker boot
Because
heel.
if you get mugged, who's looking in your shoes?
I mean, well, this day and age, they take your shoes, so like, and
Well,
your
they're not
cell
gonna take a
phone.
woman's.
Yeah,
I mean, they
lies.
might. Who
They
knows?
lie, lies. If they're Jimmy Choos, they're taking them. Anyways, okay. So they're trying to stuff her big fat $1 million in ones into her long ass boot, and I love how they go to this store and they're picking out a purse, and I love how it's a Louis Vuitton, and is it Louis Vuitton? It might be Gucci. Hold on, let's go back to that. God damn it.
Bags are
Okay.
bags to me. You
Okay,
don't
it looks
care if it's
like a
ShopRite
Gucci.
bag
It
or-
looks it looks like a Gucci. It's Gucci. Okay, so they're getting Gucci, right? And she's all like, "You think it's too big?" I was like, "Honey, listen, if it's designer, it's never too big. Okay,
It's a
it can
bag.
be, yeah, it could be the
have
size
a bag
of
to put your
Exa-
bags in. It's
exactly.
fine.
It could be the size of a Birkin. If it's designer, just fucking get it, honey. Especially if you can afford it and everything. And she's paying in ones. I love that there's like a stack of bills on top of the counter. And this woman right here, Elsa right here, she's just looking at her like, what is this dollar bills nonsense? And she's and I love how Ramona's all like, what are you looking at? Ring it up, bitch, and everything. I'm like, yeah, start counting the ones, stupid. You're gonna be here all day. So then
Yeah,
they go
could
back
you
to-
imagine having to count out like 1,000 ones and
No,
then having
but-
to recount it? 'Cause-
recounting because you don't want your drawer to be
So
off.
I used to work. I used to work at Best Buy, and so I have actually had to do that. Maybe it's not as bad as ones, but small bills. Somebody's buying like a $2,000 computer, and they're paying in fives.
That would suck. That
And
would suck.
it's a drag.
Yeah.
You're like, you couldn't have stopped by the bank and been like, can I
Yeah.
trade these in?
Yeah, can I trade? Yeah, exactly. I've done that before. It's not that it takes like an extra 20 minutes. It's not a big deal.
Okay.
So they go back to Ramona's apartment, which her apartment is nice, and then also she's got all this designer stuff, which is also nice. Which I'm like, good for you, girl.
So that's another thing that she is definitely making money because she's got a beautiful view. It's New
Yeah.
York City, and that's
Yeah.
not cheap, right?
Oh yeah, that apartment costs.
And it's a
buku
corner
bucks.
apartment.
Yeah, like look at that view of the city
Yeah.
right there. So
Yeah,
she's doing well. She's doing well for herself for
Yeah.
a stripper, right?
And she
Exactly.
upgrades at some point during
Yeah,
the
she gets
movie,
the
too.
penthouse. Yeah, she gets
Yeah.
the penthouse. Yeah. So okay, so now I loved this scene because I love when Destiny comes in and she's like, "I'm gonna start my own bikini line." I'm like, "Isn't that a stripper's dream?" They're just all like, "I'm gonna start my own clothing line. I'm gonna be the next Louis Vuitton and shit." And you're like, "Get the fuck out of here! You're not going to be." But it's super cute.
And
'Cause-
like all strippers, she's taking classes.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes, they're all. Well,
Yeah.
yeah. Wait, hold on, Vetta. You're not a nurse, right?
No.
Yeah.
Okay, so I need to make a statement about nurses.
Yeah.
Have you ever noticed that most nurses are tend to be ex hoes?
Yes.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And it's almost like the redemption arc of a hoe is like, I'm going to take nursing classes.
Yeah,
and then you can
exactly.
be a nurse
Yeah,
somewhere.
that's how it is. Yeah, that is how it is. And then they go back to stripping because they don't make as much money. Okay, so she's all like, nothing feels better than denim when it gets wet, and I'm all like, what? I'm like, I'm just cold and annoyed when my shit gets wet. What are you talking about? And she's gonna design her own bathing suit line, and she's like, did you make this? I'm like, honey, look at it. She made this. You can tell she made it. Okay, she made it with her bedazzler, and so she's gonna start her own clothing line, which never happens, which I'm like surprised. And
I
then
love
in
the
walks.
name of it.
What was the name of it?
Swim Mona.
Swim Mona. Nice. So fucking lame. Okay.
Oh, and those lines about denim, it's absolutely wrong. So she makes
Yeah.
a statement that she's like, yeah, it's my bathing suit, and my innovation is that it's made of denim, and people think it'll be uncomfortable, but it's not. It's better when wet. Denim is never better wet. What is
Yeah,
she
it's never
talking
better
about?
wet. It's heavier. You're like, what? I mean, yeah, it's yeah. If you've ever jumped in like a swimming pool with your jeans on, it's not fun when it's all wet. It's not.
Yeah, no, it's
And
horrible.
it gets heavy and you feel
Yeah,
like you're
that's
dying.
not
Right.
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
and it sticks to you, clings to you in a
Yeah,
horrible
yeah.
way.
It's
It's
not-
just-
yeah.
And getting it off afterwards, you're like, I'm just gonna die and be buried
Yeah,
in these
yeah.
jeans.
Exactly. Okay. So then we get introduced to her daughter, and she's like, "This is my whole world," and she gives the line that motherhood is a mental illness. Okay. And she's like, "I'd do anything for my daughter," and I'm like, "Yeah, so would every other mother. Okay, you're not special." Okay. So then.
Destiny's mom didn't. Remember, she abandoned
Her
her
mom,
to
she
Nana.
needed a break. She needed a break. Okay. So then she's talking to Julie Stiles and she's all like she's telling her about stuff and she's like telling her how to work a guy, and she gets her own apartment and everything, all that good
Her
stuff.
main client, which she calls later in the movie, if she would have given him the time of day, he would have freaking married her. I guarantee it.
Yeah, yes, this guy right
here.
Yes.
So
yes.
I mean, that's the
Which his
interesting
name
thing
is
about
Stephen.
Yeah, and so that's an interesting thing about simps, right? Is that these women don't respect their simps; they only want the money from them, right?
Exactly.
But we find out later that he might have come off as a simp, but he was actually one of the big whales.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Absolutely.
And he's a big whale.
Well,
I meant because he's fat.
It's just interesting that she ended up needing her simp again, and then he had moved on with his life, and she didn't.
Yeah.
And she craves the lifestyle that he could have given her.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like that's the thing. You got ladies. You always bypass the good ones, and then you regret it later on. And who's
Literally
laughing
the
now?
story of my life. Literally.
Who's laughing now? Steven's laughing now. Okay. So I love this part right here because he's all like, "You're really good at handwriting," and she's all like, and he's like,
calligraphy. She could be a calligrapher.
Yeah, and he's like, they could turn your handwriting into a font, and she's like, what? And he's like, you know how you have fonts on your computer? They could turn your handwriting into a font. And she's like, I don't have a computer. And she like gives him the eyes.
My handwriting's so
She's
good.
like, only someone would buy me one.
Yeah,
Right.
exactly. So
and he does.
And he does, and he buys her like jewelry and shit. So then here we get she meets the love of her life or whatever. I guess I don't know.
What's his name? Johnny.
Yeah, his name is Johnny.
Ugh.
Yeah. So she meets Johnny at this little party. And Ramona, like, if you look, I don't know if I have Ramona's face during this scene.
Oh, yeah. Ramona is so annoyed.
Yeah, Ramona senses the loser all over him.
So if I could be a dick for just a second.
Yeah, be a dick the whole time.
I actually think that Constance Wu, no offense to anyone, any fans of hers or anything, I just don't think she's attractive enough for this role.
I have take offense. I don't care. You're 100% right.
So J-Lo is right next to her and is twice her age.
Yeah.
Yet still looks better than her.
Looks 100 times better than her. Bangs don't work for her.
When the four of the girls, after Kiki Palmer and Lily Reinhold join, and there's a scene where they're dancing around, they all can move sexier and they're all cuter.
Oh.
And like, how is the main
you mean at the very end, like the closing scene?
Yeah,
where
she dances. Yeah, she dances like she's a character from Minecraft. It's very blocky. Like it's not.
So she doesn't have moves, right? She doesn't have looks. Look, this is showing off she doesn't have the body. How did she get the main role of this movie? This actress.
That's a great
I don't have
question.
a clue, but I want to know why did she not do the same prepping? Because I don't know if you guys remember, but when J-Lo got this role, like that is when she really amped up she was taking the stripper classes, she got a personal trainer. That's when she really became the like super toned.
She's a
type.
professional.
I mean, she's always been a good looking, sexy lady, but she really put the super work in because she said she wanted to look good in stripper clothes. Why didn't the rest of these ladies do that?
I mean, I think they look good. They just didn't do the work.
They look good, but I just go
because J-Lo knows what it takes to get it done. Okay, these ladies just
her and Ramona are kindred spirits apparently.
Maybe because I don't think J-Lo is like J-Lo's not like a top-notch actress. She's fine, but she's not top-notch. I mean, none of these ladies are better than her in my opinion, but maybe they just were like, I'm an actress, so I don't need to do the whore dancing.
And you know what is with J-Lo though is because of her celebrity is really what sells in this movie. It's not. You're right. She's not the best pop star. She's not the best at anything. She's just kind of there. She's always just been kind of there, and so therefore, they're like, well, we got J-Lo as a character on this movie, and
not even the best wife.
Anyways, okay. The best role she is at is being J-Lo. Selling herself is what she's good at.
Vetta, you could not be more correct on that statement. You want to know how we know that? You want to know how we know that? Because she was in the best role she ever played in the movie This Is Me Now, A Love Story. And
I
we
love that
reviewed that.
one.
We reviewed that one. If you guys want to check it
I'm
out,
so traumatized by that movie.
it's so good. I love that movie. Okay, we're talking about Hustlers right now. Let's get back into Hustlers. Okay, so then they end up buying. They buy, Destiny a car, and they're working the club and everything. Oh, I love when Cardi B chews out the DJ, because the DJ is played by Big J Okerson. He's a comedian. He's so funny. Anyways, so then and then I also love this scene where this stripper is talking down to
Consoling
her man.
her boyfriend.
Yeah, because she's all like, she's like, I gotta make this money. Go home. I'll come home. I'll make you dinner. I'll suck your dick, give you a back rub, and then I'll put you to bed. All right. I'll see you later. Bye, bye, bye. She might as well just be like, I'll put your project on the fridge and everything. And I'm just like, oh, get the fuck out of here. Okay. So all these whores are dancing for their dollar bills, right? And then, okay, so in the back, Lizzo comes in, which I want to talk about Lizzo in just a second. But Lizzo comes in. She's like, get your titties out. Usher's here and everything. So then Usher, in fact, that was it. Hold on.
And Lizzo's titties are out, covered by the world's biggest
hold on.
pasties.
I want to just show. I'm trying to get a picture of it and everything. Just give me 1 second, because I would like to show you guys. Like, I'm sorry, but Lizzo's boobs look like dog noses. They're gross and everything. I just want to who's. Go ahead.
You're right that, like, in a movie with all these beautiful women in it, why is Lizzo the only one that does a full titties?
Exactly.
Even Cardi B's, she had nipple tassels.
Yeah. She's got the tassels.
But why is the only real tits we get is Lizzo's? This is like someone's trying to punish me or something.
Yeah, and they're gross. They're just gross. They look like dog noses. I would not pay for a dance from Lizzo, because later on she bends over and wiggles her ass around and everything. I'm like, ugh, that looks like Jello in a garbage bag.
There are chubby
It's fucking
chasers
gross.
out there that are all for that.
Oh, big fucking whoop. There's chubby chasers. Okay, anyways, okay. That
She's
doesn't
right,
mean you
though.
need
They
it
are
in a
thing.
movie. You don't need it in your movie. Who cares? Okay, so then Usher comes in.
Representation.
That's right. It's so diverse and inclusive. Anyways, so Usher enters the club, but I feel like his herpes came in first. And so he's coming in, and he's all dancing to the music, and all the ladies are up in the I want to make love in this club and everything. And I just want to say, I do not like what J-Lo is wearing. She's wearing like a big moo kind of dress, and I'm like, sweetie, you got to show some skin. But she does, like, what's your name? He's like, Usher, baby. And I'm like, get the fuck out of here with that nonsense.
Yeah, but you know what's so funny? You know what his notorious stripper story is?
Go ahead. Tell me. I want to know.
Yeah. So here's what it is. He for in his music videos, he has something called Usher Bucks, where instead of the president, it's him. And there was a time that him and his friends went to the strip club, and they were paying the strippers in Usher dollars, which is just fake money.
That is amazing.
When they got caught, they ran for it. Like, as if no one would ever find out who they were.
That's so good. Usher Bucks. Gosh, I should try that sometime.
And when because that's what they would do when they were on the stage,
dollars.
like make it rain with those. And then wasn't there something, and I could be wrong, and I could be because this was, I heard this story years ago. They would also, like, if they were paying a stripper, they'd put like a real $5 bill, but then they'd have the fake Usher Bucks under it so they could get more. But I could be wrong. But I could have sworn
I'm loving
that.
I know he ended up getting arrested for that, doing that to strippers. So that's funny that he appears in a stripper movie.
That's great. That's so good. I love every minute of that story. And lesson to learn. Okay, so there's Lizzo. She's gross. And so, okay, so we find out that Destiny is pregnant. Johnny got her knocked up. And he's, I love how he's like, I'm gonna take care of you. I'm like, what, with your 9 to 5? Get out of here. And so and we got the big crash of 2008. Okay, where everybody, all the Wall Street, the stock market plummeted, real estate was like down and everything. People got laid off left and right.
Double broke.
Yeah. So the strippers had to make their way as normal people at this point in time. Oh, Johnny leaves her and she's stuck with, little Lucy Lou. I don't remember what her child's name is. It doesn't matter. And this is where she calls Steven, and Steven's all like, hey, what's up? I'm sorry. I couldn't help you out. And she's like, all right, later, Steven. Sorry.
And do you notice this? But here's the significance of it. He, even though he's married, he has a beautiful house. We see his house because he goes all over it. Mm-hmm. He lies to his wife.
He goes to sit in the sauna in the indoor swimming pool.
Right. He goes to hide, and he gives her the time of day. And so most men who have moved on with their life would not have.
You see the regret, because he's like, if you would have called me sooner, like, you can see that he's like, ah, shit, I could have had her.
Yeah, exactly,
Oh.
exactly. Okay, so then she hangs up on him, which I'm like, you shouldn't have hung up on him, but you're stupid, but you've been dumb this
I
whole
was
time.
gonna say she probably could have been his side piece and rode that for a
She
couple
could have been
years
his
to get
side
the
piece.
shit
Yeah, she
paid
could have.
for.
Yeah. So she goes to this Nordstrom or whatever, and she's trying to get a job as a
This
retail
part
seller.
makes me mad.
Yeah, this part makes me mad too because although I have to be honest, Elga here, I thought she was nice. She was just being honest with her.
No,
She was just
that's not the part that
you
makes
are not
me
going
mad.
to make it in this business. You have no retail experience. Sorry about that and everything. And I'm
The
just
part that
like, I like
makes
your
me
earrings.
mad is that
Mhm.
Destiny doesn't just stick to the because every strip club I have ever gone to, they do have bartenders and they are always females, but that's their job. They're not strippers, they're just bartenders. And she says, oh, I see you were a bartender at whatever the strip club's name is. And she's like, yeah, that and stuff. And I'm like, no and stuff.
Yeah, she
You're just a
mostly
bartender.
bartending, and
Yeah, mostly bartending. There is
but
no
after that it was
mostly.
blowjobs. So
Yeah, it's
yeah.
100% you were bartending, you were selling liquor.
Yeah. You're right, Vetta. She should not.
She
Don't
knocked on
tell-
herself, basically.
Exactly. Don't tell information nobody asked for. Okay. So then she ends up going back to the strip club where the Russian girls are, they're blowing dudes, right?
Because all of their husbands their mail order husbands that, they came to America for are now poor. So
Yeah.
So she's in. I love this scene, right? And so she's in with this dude, right? And he's all like, "Just give it a little tug for 300." And she does it, right? But then she's like, and then at the end of the night, it was only $20. Now, that's a good deal for a blowjob. $20. That's a great deal and everything. But Vetta pointed out to me that he probably paid 300, but she had to pay the dude and then the other dude and then the side guy, and so she probably only got out of that $320. And I was like,
So
don't ruin that he got a good deal out of that, because that made me happy. $20 is good. $20. You can't even get a hand job these days for $20. So I'm just saying.
Yeah, seriously. But I will say this: that what's unrealistic, and you can tell that the director of this film doesn't respect sex workers, and here's why.
Yeah.
First, we've already touched on it. He won't let his main cast do nude. Why? Because he knows people. There's a percentage of the population who will not respect the women once they start showing their titties. And so the director decided, I'm making a movie about sex workers who don't show titties, which is weird, right?
It is weird.
And then furthermore, it is unrealistic that she's gone this far as a stripper and this is her first sex act for money.
Yeah.
There's no way she wouldn't have years earlier done something like that.
But this is a higher end strip club, and we never see what she does at the one that's called like Sin City. That was like her first strip club. But remember, when she goes back to stripping, Mom, who is like the strip club madam or whatever, is working the bar, and she tells her they've taken all the cameras out of the room because these Russian girls will do anything for the money.
Oh, I must have missed that.
Yeah,
line.
it's when she goes to the bar and she hugs the old lady that they called Mom
I know the old lady you're talking about because she stays in the movie.
So she tells her. So this was one of those like nicer strip clubs that they couldn't do stuff like that because there were cameras in all of the rooms except for that upper special elevator one. But now they're all gone, so
yeah,
shit's going down.
And I love how she's crying here, like, "Oh, I'm supposed to feel sorry for you. I don't feel sorry for you. I'm poor girl."
Yeah, here's what it is. Here's what it is. For a normal person who's not a sex worker, I think they'd be like, "You blew a guy for just $60. That sucks." But
Yeah.
I think I just don't believe that she ends up by the time she does the interview, she's had a whole long career of being a sex worker. I cannot believe that is the first time she's ever done a sex act for money. And
so do you think it's not her first time? It's her first time at that club, like because she thought she had made it to the big league when she got to that club. She thought she was in like. So I feel like
you thought she was done. She felt like she was done with it.
Yes, that's what I felt. I felt like she thought she was done and didn't have to do that anymore because she was at the big club, and now the big club is just as bad as the startup club,
Yeah, but she wants to stay in that VIP. Anyways,
yeah.
So, excuse me. So then she meets up with Ramona again. I love this hug between her and Ramona, and she's like, "It's been so tough on me," and I'm like, oh, you had to work a 9 to
Girl,
5.
why didn't you call me?
We've all been there, honey. We've all had to shop at the Goodwill before. Get the fuck out of here. Anyway, so I love Ramona's little speech here, and she's all like, "They took our money. They lost our pensions. They should have to pay." And I'm all like, "Oh, Ramona, stop fucking giving us a fucking speech like you're Stalin over here and shit."
Right. It's so moral, injecting some moral,
yeah, exactly,
socialist bullshit.
And she's working at the Gap now.
Yeah, which I love this. So now I love this scene right here. She goes in to talk to Tony, whatever his name is, and she's like, "I need to leave early on Friday. I got to pick my kid up from school." And he's all like, "Am I the dad?" Now, did any of you in this scene thought she was going to blow Tony to get out of Friday?
Yes,
Okay.
I assume that's where that was headed.
Okay. Right,
how did that not go there?
Okay, I thought
especially because of the way he turns his chair. And just his entire body, he even slumps down a little in the chair. I'm like, oh, she's gonna have to blow him to go pick her kid up from school.
Okay, we're all in the same boat. Good, because the whole time I'm just all like, all right, she's gonna shut that door. If there's a door, I can't really see it right here. And then she's gonna get on her knees, and that's where the scene's gonna end. End scene, end cut. Okay, so then she goes back to the strip club, and I also love this scene because she's trying to get with these two dudes right here, but this guy's not having it because he won't let him take off her clothes and stuff. And he's like, "Why don't you take a break?" And I'm like, "Yeah, why don't you take a break?" And so she goes back to the club, and this is where we meet Annabelle. Okay. Yeah. And Annabelle's crying, and I'm like, "Oh, you poor stripper." And she's all like, "My family kicked me out when they found out I worked here." And I'm like, "Okay, well, of course they would, because they're like, you're a dirty whore." So then they start getting their marks, and they've come up with this great, brilliant plan, right?
Oh, it's genius. It really is genius.
It's actually not a bad plan and everything. Although they wouldn't catch me because I have no money. I don't.
Okay, so here's the problem with the thing, and
go ahead.
I mean, they address it eventually. These difficulties when you're dealing with drugs, you never know what somebody is allergic to or what kind of reaction they can have. You could easily kill somebody.
Absolutely, and we're going to talk about their drug.
And that's the problem is that they don't start with small doses and see. They go straight in with one drink. Here's the drugs. Have at it. Don't you feel like it should be here, have one drink now while we're getting you to the club? We'll see how that takes place, and then we'll give you more so we can take the rest of your shit.
Oh, yeah. Well, and when they give him the one drink, smarter. I feel like they pour so much of that shit in there. I'm like, that's way too much baking soda, you guys.
I'm like, he's not a volcano. Stop.
Exactly. Calm it down. So they get this guy schmammered. They take him back to the club, and then they negotiate their cut of the deal. And they get him. They don't get drunk, but they get him so drunk, and then they put him in a cab and send him home. And then they get in the percentage of what they want. Yeah. And it doesn't always work. Like this guy, he's like, "No, I'm not drinking or whatever."
Yeah.
And so they
the amount of money they get from each guy's like the way I understand it is they get a percentage from the strip club, not a set amount, because every client is worth different amounts.
Yeah, exactly.
Obviously, that makes sense how much they spend, right?
Yep.
Yeah, exactly. So they keep getting these dudes like this guy. I thought they were going to kill this dude right here.
I kind of felt that's where that was going. I was like, oh, he's going to have to go to the ER or something.
Yeah. And then they celebrate afterwards, like, oh, we just took this guy for $50K, and I'm all like, or whatever they say, and I'm all like, you guys should not be celebrating this, like, and we'll find out why later. But I'm like, you don't know who these dudes are. Like, if they got me for $50,000, I wouldn't be able to afford that. Like, who's got what Joe Schmo's got $50,000?
Yeah, I can't remember the guy's name. Doug, was that his name?
We're gonna talk about Doug. We're gonna talk about Doug. Don't worry. So
you know what's fun? You know what's actually funny is that the movie is going one direction with it, and you guys are also feeling that direction. What about the guy who can't afford it? Right? I was thinking the exact opposite. I was gonna say, what if you end up robbing a guy who's connected with a mob or something?
That's a great.
Oh no, I thought about that too with the one guy where they call in and they're like, "What's the limit? $50,000. Let's take it." And I'm like, oh shit, he's gonna have you murdered.
Yeah, I mean, like, there's some guys who could be connected or they could be involved in criminal stuff, and he could have that place burnt down and all the hoes killed.
Right. Right. Yeah.
Well, this is my favorite part where they're Betty Crocker in the kitchen.
Yeah, that's what I was like. You guys are not fucking Betty Crocker here. So this is, by the way, this is where they're trying to figure out. So they go, we'll do 80%. I don't know what they say, methadone, and like 6% crack or whatever it is. I don't remember what the drugs were.
Ketamine was like the main one.
Yeah. ketamine, because that makes you forget, they said. And then so they're like, we're gonna turn the liquid into powder and the powder into liquid. And I just the whole time I was watching this scene, I just go, that's not how science works, you guys. This is not how science works. You don't just get a pop out a hot plate
I'm
and
pretty
make
sure
drugs.
Breaking Bad was out around
exactly.
around the time this happened. He was a chemistry teacher and had it all down for the mess.
Exactly.
They're strippers with what, a fashion degree and a marketing degree.
Exactly. And they whip out a George Foreman grill and a fucking, thing that you grind fucking popcorn in. And I'm just like,
a mortar and pestle.
Yeah. And I'm all like, this is not how science works, you guys, so and they pass out and everything. And then they're baking that shit in the oven like they're Betty Crocker. I'm all like,
I do enjoy this scene because it's funny. It's like it's a moment of comedy in a movie that's not very funny.
Yeah.
And I do like that it ends with them passed out on the floor.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. So okay.
Which just reaffirms
can you go back to that last scene?
They didn't know what they were doing.
There was some lesbian tension. This is all I'm saying.
Right on. Yeah. Listen, if they would have went down on each other, I would have enjoyed this movie way more. Okay. So they're cleaning up and they decide they're going to go back to their regulars, and they have a whole list of dudes they're going to get a hold of. So they start dropping these dudes and they start getting the money and everything. She's able to pimp out her grandma's house or whatever she says.
Get her Nana out of debt.
Yeah, exactly. And then so she's sitting here and she's talking to some dude and she's like, "Oh, it was a night of fun. What are you gonna do? Tell your wife you went to a strip club and spent, $5K? All these okay. I don't Keke Palmer. I do not understand why she saw what she saw. Dragon must give that good dick because she kept trying to bail Dragon out. She kept getting a lawyer.
She's visiting him in prison.
Yeah, she's gonna marry him. I'm like, maybe you need to move on from Dragon. But the dick must have been just so good for her not to.
I think they're making a statement about the chaotic lives and dysfunctional lives of strippers, right? Or sex workers, right?
Well, and that's another
often
thing.
A lot of sex workers have like relationships like that, right?
Well, true, but at this point in time, I just want to be like, Keke Palmer, you are not a stripper anymore. You're just a con artist. You don't even get naked. You just drug these people. You're just a professional con artist at this point. You could move on and be like, I don't take my
literally the
clothes
Wall Street guys that were coming into the club back when she was stripping. She's now become them.
Yeah, exactly.
They're just conning people out of their money.
Yeah. So they're all looking good. I love this part because this guy, he's an architect and he's all like, let's go fuck in the bathroom. I'm like, yeah, just go fuck him in the bathroom. Like, come on. Like,
he'll give you $300 probably. Go for it.
Yeah, he'll give you $300,
and you can keep it all. You don't got to give, 90% of it to the house.
And I loved when they're all like, we need to outsource. There's just too much. And so they get all these other.
And this is the part that I went, oh, you fucked up. Now you're outsourcing. You're done.
Exactly.
That was a mistake.
Yeah, you can't outsource.
4-woman operation, the people they trust.
Exactly. Yep. Now, I don't remember this old hag. I think her name is Jackie, but don't quote me on that.
She was the opera singer at the strip club.
Okay,
the one that said she was crying on Lizzo's shoulder saying she hadn't had sex in 2 years.
That's awesome. I'm just saying she's great in this scene. She looks time has not been good to her. Okay, so and this dog, fuck this dog and everything. So they get all these women here and they just start ramping up the dudes and everything because they have to
Which this group isn't the problem. It's when Ramona gets greedy and just starts breaking all of the rules that they've set.
All of the rules. That's the thing. Ramona gets too greedy. You can't get too greedy in this stuff. You have. Go ahead.
Here's one thing I like about this movie, and however, I'm gonna call it cliche right now. And so you know how there's like music biopics always have like the same formula and stuff like that. Well, crime stories very often have the same formula, and this is following the same formula as Goodfellas or any of these crime ones, right? Where it's like you learn the culture of it, and then it's about good friends who become criminals and they're living the dream and they're super rich, and then they start breaking their own rules and they mess up.
Exactly.
And then one of them flips on them. It's always the same thing. But I do like that they use that formula for this one. So it makes it a little more fun to watch.
Right on. So as we talked before, Ramona gets a nice apartment. It's beautiful and everything. But you were paying top dollar for this fucking apartment. I'm just saying that like the view alone cost you like $5,000 a month.
Yeah.
So
that's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. And you live in New York, Mantis, so you would know more than us. But I can tell you right now, I know that this is like, skyscraper. Living in a skyscraper is not cheap. So
yeah, I'm from. Here's the thing. That's the one thing I hate about New York State. And if I didn't have family issues here, I would be gone in a flash. Because cost of living is just already over the top. But one of the worst things is rent. Is ridiculous. So I can only imagine how much she's paying. She's an idiot. She should go up to like the suburbs and get a nice house.
Yeah,
and just ride the train in. Yep, ride the train in to do her job and go home.
Yeah.
And New York's rent's crazy because they have to it's just insane. I would never live there. And these apartments, I would bet she's $25K a month for that place at least.
It's crazy.
Yeah. So we know why she gets greedy, because she wants to keep this apartment.
Yep.
Okay, so it's Christmas time, and they're buying each other gifts and everything, which is really nice. And she gets Ramona a Louis Vuitton handbag, and then Ramona gets her a fur jacket. My favorite part of this was like, what was it? She's like, chinchilla. And I was like, chinchilla.
And they all get all excited. And I was like, is that good?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know anything about fur coats, but is chinchilla good? Does that
Chinchilla's great.
Have you seen a chinchilla in a pet store?
They're so cute.
They're the fluffiest, cutest creature. Like they just look like balls of fluff.
And now they've turned it into a coat. Oh, sad.
Oh, it's better.
Shave them to make coats and stuff. But I'm saying it's the nicest fur you're ever gonna get.
Yeah, and they're so adorable. But I love them as coats. Yeah,
I love that. I used to, when I was little, I used to love going to pet stores to play with the chinchillas. They had chinchillas in a little cage.
Yeah, they've got like big ears. They're super cute.
But my favorite thing about Christmas is Nana. So
I love how they have like what do they call them? A madam, right? They have, all the horses have a madam. But the thing that I love about
there,
this,
but Nana tells the story about Frankie Valley.
Oh, wait, hold on real quick, because Ramona, she tells about how she got with a dude, and I don't know who the dude was, but she got on a private jet and she was eating lobster and champagne and shit, and then she's like getting on a jet to fly to Europe or some shit, and she's all like, I didn't tell him I got motion sickness or whatever the fuck she says. She's like, so I'm in the bathroom throwing up lobster tail and champagne, and then Nana here tells her story. What was her story, Vetta?
So she tells a story about how one time when Frankie Valley was between wives, she danced with him and everything. And they're all like, are you sure it was Frankie Valley? And she's like, yeah. And I'm like, no, it wasn't. It reminds me of it. So way back in the day, the earlier seasons, we reviewed Game Night. And the wife one of the wives talks about how when her and her husband were like having a rough patch, she goes to the club and she sleeps with Denzel Washington. Later, she shows her husband a picture. It is not Denzel Washington.
It's not Denzel Washington.
This was Nana's moment of she thought it was Frankie Valley, but it was not Frankie Valley.
That's exactly what it
is.
is.
It was George from down the road.
It was George. Yeah.
That's so funny. But you know what's really important about this scene? Because remember, the dysfunction of Destiny's family is like constantly front and center in the theme in this, and so this is the family she always wished she had, right?
Yeah.
She didn't actually have a family. She's an abandoned kid, right? And so now she finally has that family.
Stripper tale, because they all seem to have that same situation going, but her entire family is accepted by them. They love her daughter. They love her Nana. They're accepting her like this. And that's why when she's doing the interviews, she is so intrigued on what Ramona said about her. She is still clinging to that relationship with Ramona.
More lesbian feeling. Like it's how I felt it was coming
it needed a scene. It needed a scene. Okay. Yeah. So at least a kiss, you know what I'm saying? Okay, so then she's still being interviewed by Julia Stiles, and she's finally
Julia Stiles' character has such a giant fucking broomstick up her ass that I'm like,
but I love it.
Is a good actress. She could do so much more.
Well, okay, so she's like, you know what? I don't think I want to be talking to you anymore. So then Ramona is getting too greedy, and she's hired this redhead. I don't remember what the redhead's name is, but redhead is a coke fiend.
Which is breaking a rule. No cokeheads and no criminals. And she's a criminal and a cokehead.
Yeah. But she's working her magic, and she's getting the card and everything, and this is where she gets way too greedy.
Destiny is jealous. That's so funny.
Yeah,
it's so obvious that she's jealous.
100%.
Yeah, because she's taking on a new little. And so So she's just like, who's that guy over there? Like pushing his head away and like mixing in the drink. I was like, sweetie, you got to stop. You got to stop. You're too much and everything. So finally we get this scene.
Part with Kiki is
This scene. Oh my god, this scene.
Kiki's all like, ah shit, I killed him. And we get this scene where we find this guy. He is just laid out on the balcony. And I'm gonna tell you right now, this guy, bravo to him, because he bears it all, but I gotta be honest now. He's got a great body. Okay, I'm jealous of his body.
Yes,
Although I have to be honest with you, I have a bigger dick than him.
More than any of the 4 main characters do. He shows it all. You get the full Monty from him.
Yeah, you get the full Monty from him. So,
Right,
so she's
but
like,
so this guy, the whole premise of this whole thing is this guy was high and drunk and thought he could jump off the roof and into the pool. Instead, misses completely.
yeah, which it's like a mile from the roof to the pool. Like ladies, like you're, like I'm like, what are you doing?
He thought he could jump it. You know, that's being high. He was probably high out of
That
his
is,
mind.
that
so
is.
true.
I
That's
can
so true.
fly
But
scenario.
I just want to say, like, I'm like, I don't know. I've been pretty drunk before, and I can tell distance while I'm drunk. I'm like, yeah, I can't make that. I know that for sure. Okay, so they take him to the hospital. Oh, I love this part when they're like, oh, 5-0, 5-0. And while they're in the car, he wakes up and Kiki Palmer screams and punches him in the face and knocks him out again.
Yeah. Accidentally knocks him back.
Yeah. And the 5-0, they go run off to whatever. So they get to the hospital, and they're like, we have to help him out. And Kiki Palmer, she's like, fuck this noise, I'm out and everything. So she runs away, and I'm like, Kiki,
And I
get
have a
back in the
question for you.
fucking car.
Is her character wearing one of the denim swimsuits?
That's a great
I
question.
never
That's a
knew.
great question, Vetta. That's a great question.
Oh my God,
is she
she
wearing
is.
a swimrona? I don't know.
Oh
A
my
swimona?
God, I think she
I don't
might
know.
be. That's
but
good.
that's a
And
great
it didn't
question.
come
Look
up
at that.
until the scene when she goes to run away, and I'm like, oh my god, I think
It
she's
looks-
wearing a swimona.
And
I
she
would
was
say
just
she is.
swimming,
It
so
looks
it makes
fucking
sense.
terrible.
She was
I
just
think it
swimming.
looks that's a great. That's great. You two,
Oh my God.
you
Wait,
two
hold
are
on.
pretty.
Before you go any further, I want to say what I do love that it shows that Constance Wu's character has gone from like being a junior to a senior, because I love how she handles this. She immediately starts fake crying and she goes, "My husband," and is able to get the guy out, and then they move, and she handled it like a G.
like,
But
yeah, I'm like a pro.
then she falls apart in the car because the rest of the day she's wearing this fucking bloody shirt. Like she takes her kid to school in a fucking bloody shirt. Take
Yeah,
2
no, I
seconds and throw a sweater on or a hoodie.
Yeah,
'Cause
yeah, because there she is. She's just got blood
seriously,
splatters
the
all
blood
over.
shirt. How is
Actually,
no one?
that scene is done real well, where she's walking and we don't see the blood. We just see the faces of everyone who walks by her. And they're
Well,
like,
I think
"What is this?"
a small piece of it is because she is dressed kind of like a hooker. Like I'm like, does she drop her kid off every day like this? Like just dressed like a dirty whore and everything? I don't think so.
But so much blood right there when she's
so much
coming out,
blood.
and does she not
Here's the-
realize it? She couldn't have taken 2 seconds and grabbed a
Yeah.
coat, a hoodie, anything.
Not that I'm a serial killer. Remember, guys, it's easy to explain blood stains. As soon as someone looks at it, go, "Oh, I was just painting," and then
That's a
people will
great
just shut up.
Yeah.
I suppose, but I don't think any of those suburban moms were asking that question because their bitches are too gossipy. They got their wine.
Oh, for sure.
They're at the coffee shop. They're having wine in the house, and they're talking about Destiny. They're like, "Oh, did you see her show up at school today?"
Right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay, so then now I'm gonna be honest with you. This part made me sad. So
It
she
made me
goes
sad,
she
too.
goes back to Nana's house, and Nana is
Yeah, that
dead.
scene where she sees her and she just starts crying.
Oh, look at her.
Yeah.
She's just so sad, and she's
and
like,
so, guys,
she
I'm sorry,
wasn't
go.
there. She wasn't there for Nana and everything. And Nana,
so
go
I'm
ahead.
going to tell you guys. I'm not trying to make this podcast sad or anything like that. So
don't. I've got a good buzz on. Please don't.
Okay.
Go for it.
So no, then we don't have to get into it.
No, tell me your story. I want to hear it. But
My story is similar to the main character here, Destiny's. So my mother
you were a
couldn't handle-
stripper.
was a stripper.
That's hot. That's
No,
hot.
My mother couldn't handle raising us, and so she left me with my grandmother, and so I was raised by my grandmother. And also, when my grandmother passed, I was the one who came in and saw her
That is
when I was
so
like in
sad.
5th grade.
Mantis, that's so sad.
Yeah, it is, and I don't mean to bum anyone out. My grandmother May, Mama May, she was amazing. She was wonderful. She's the reason why I am the awesome person I am today. But yeah, so this scene touched me in many ways.
Right on.
Right.
Well, I'm sorry to hear that. Rest in peace, Mama May. I'm pretty sure I would love you. Okay,
Yeah.
I love old people, so it's great.
Yeah, old
okay.
people are great.
Yeah, I love old people. Yeah, you get me around old people, I just want to have a good time. Okay, anyways, so not like that. Don't be weird. Okay, so we're at the funeral, and of course Ramona shows up after she told her not to call her again. And she's like, I'm so sorry and everything. And it's so sad because she's like, this was like her mother figure. It's so sad. And then this is where Destiny's like, I don't think I want to talk to you anymore. Get the fuck out of my house. And so that was
because what does she say? I don't even remember what she says to her. But she asks a question. I can't remember it. And she's like, we're done.
So I remember, I think the fight is that she was calling about all the chaos going on with Kiki, and what's her face was busy, as she says, bailing out the redhead.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then when she was questioning, where were you? We needed you. That's when J-Lo was like, shut up, bitch.
And then the question the thing that Destiny is like, I don't want to talk to you anymore, is she asks about Doug. That's when
yes,
switch.
Doug. Oh, we're to the Doug part.
And they bleep Doug's name, which I just want to say right now.
Why did they bleep
the last name? But I'm all like, why? Is this a famous person? No, it's a fake person, because that's called an actor. You guys are being weird in this movie.
You know what? You know what's crazy? I had forgotten that they had done that, but I remember thinking that was so strange. I was like, what word are they bleeping?
Yeah.
Well, they're bleeping his last
what about
name,
Doug
and I think
Fuck?
it's because it's quote unquote based on a true story. So she's a reporter. So who knows? Either way, I'm like, okay, so instead of using Doug, go with Joe Blow, and then you don't even have to worry about his last fucking name.
You know what they should have done? It's weird that that's the only part of the movie that ever happens. It might make more sense if throughout the movie they have the bleeping, but to do it just once is just weird.
Yeah,
it's just weird. So then we do meet Doug, and Doug's just a normal dude who's his wife is leaving him because their child has Down syndrome, and he's connecting with Destiny on a personal level because she's talking about her kid and everything. He's talking about his kid and everything, and then they get Doug fucked up, and then Doug ends up spending so much money, and he calls him. He's like, my mortgage is on that credit card. I can't not pay my mortgage.
And they put money on his corporate card.
Card.
Which is why they thought he was more important than he was, because he had a corporate card.
Yeah, and he gets fired. Yeah, he gets fired and everything. And he's like, my kid has Down syndrome. And she's sitting here talking. She's like, I'm really sorry, Doug. And Ramona's like, hang up the phone and everything. And they get into like a little tussle. And she's like, if we don't do it, somebody else will. And I'm like, well, maybe it doesn't have to be you that does it then, Ramona. Okay.
Also, you know what? That's the craziest justification.
It's
not true that some other strippers are going to rob
exactly,
him.
Exactly. It's a horrible
like a serial killer going, well, I'm going to kill this one because if I don't, some other serial killer is going to get them.
Yeah. That's a horrible justification. Okay, so then Doug calls and he's like, I was drugged and I have proof and everything. So he plays all the proof.
First he says, I went to a strip club and I was drunk, and the cop hangs up on him.
Yeah, typical New York police detective. Anyway,
man.
So then they pull in Redhead here, right? And she's like, I'll tell you everything, just don't send me back. And I was like, fucking snitch. Anyways.
Right.
Yeah,
Snitches
so can't
get stitches,
and end up in ditches. Okay. So then they set up a sting, right? And so she's all like, I got him here. And she's like, put the drugs in, Redhead. And she's like, you do it. And she's like, no, it's your guy. Put him in. She's like, there's a car following us. They've been following us for 20 minutes or whatever. It's a car. So then they end up finding this architect guy, and they pull him in and they ask him some questions. He's like, if they could do it to me, they could do it to everybody.
He goes to a reporter and his story ends up in the New York Times. And one of the cops is like, shit, this is the same story as Doug's.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. So then
look
they
look at her. Julia Stiles, so beautiful, but she has such a serious face on the entire movie.
Like, she seriously has no fucking time for these two cops. She is like their tools. Why am I here dealing with
because I love when they're both like, yeah, we got so spooked we couldn't even go back to the club ourselves. And I was like, you dirty assholes and everything. I'm like, I love that you guys went and seen those dirty whores. Okay, anyways. So I was like, how many blowjobs did they get from those Russians? Anyway,
and
so
probably
then
for free because they were
probably
cops.
for free. Yeah, they're like
they flashed their bag.
Exactly, they're like, suck it or you go. I'm taking you in.
Yeah, taking me. We're with ice.
Exactly. So then Ramona, she's going to get some money out of the ATM, and they arrest her. I was like, oh man, and then she has to let go.
Great scene. Where she just turns around and there's like 50 cops around her.
Yeah, and she has to let go of the money and it gets taken away in the wind. And I'm like, oh no, the money and everything. I'm like, save it.
Yeah, why did they tell her to drop the money?
I think they just put your hands
Yeah,
up.
No,
I
they
think
literally
it
say
was
drop
I think
the
it was
money.
more of like a metaphor that it was the end of their riches. Like they
Oh.
had,
Yeah,
this
it's a
was,
bummer,
this was
yeah.
marking the
She's
end.
coming out of the jail, and
Yeah, she's coming out of the jail.
surrounded.
Yeah, I
And
love when she's like,
Annabelle-
I like seeing you because I know I'm going to see my dragon. I'm all like, okay, whatever that means and everything. And everything.
And poor
then,
Annabelle gets a little bit of a warning, but it's not a lot of a warning.
Annabelle's is the cutest arrest scene. It's the
yeah.
cutest arrest
Well,
scene.
and she's so dumb because I'm all like, if somebody sent me a text, run, I'd been like, where we going? I'm going now. I don't know where I'm going, but I'm getting out.
Yeah, see, you're
that's
the
the thing.
favorite
She's a
because-
career criminal. If you get a text run, you're a career criminal. You better start running, right?
Yeah, so she gets
I'm
arrested.
not
and
lying. If Matt sent me a text tomorrow and all it said was run, I'm in my car, and as I'm in the car, I'm voice texting on, where am I going? What's going on?
Yeah.
He's dead. Who's going to jail?
Yeah.
You know, I'm not sitting in my house texting him. He literally said, run. This is important.
Yeah, what's going on here? That's weird and everything. So then Annabelle, she throws up. She's like, sorry about that and everything. Lucy
She
Lou,
does the whole movie.
she does the whole move. So Lucy Lou, she just gets taken, peacefully, and she gets into her car, and they all get thrown into the jail cell and everything. And they're like, which one of you is the ringleader? And so they're talking to Lucy Lou here, and they're like, think about your daughter. And that's where they got her. And it's like, and J-Lo says it, motherhood is a mental illness because she does it for the baby. And then she's like,
you know who
go ahead.
else says that? If you guys are Game of Thrones fans, I don't know if you are. Cersei Lannister has, I'm not going to quote it here because I didn't prepare it, but she is an amazing monologue about motherhood and love. You know what I mean? And like, basically, her argument is the only people in your life you should love are your children.
And
Because
isn't
that
that
makes
the
natural
one that right
sense.
before she does that whole shame scene where she has to walk through town?
No, it's not. That's not the one I'm talking about. It's much earlier in the thing. But people explain, they're like, why are you justifying your crazy son? And she's like, the only people in your life you should ever love are your children. Because and she talks about it like lovers will betray you, family will betray you, but your children, it's completely normal to love your children.
yeah.
You know.
So then Ramona's all like, you little idiot, you snitch and everything.
Because
And
she
I'm all
says,
like,
I took the deal.
yeah, because she says she took the deal, which I'm all like, all right, fine,
She
whatever.
betrayed her family. She betrayed her own family.
Yeah. So then she calls Julia Stiles at the end of this movie, and she's all like, "Hey, how you doing?" Everything. I was like, "Oh, you have no friends." And Julia Stiles is at like a party or whatever.
Celebrating the article, I'm assuming.
I mean, I thought she looked pregnant, so I was like, maybe it's a baby shower. I don't know.
Oh,
But
I
she's
just
like-
assumed it was the article got published and it was the celebration of the article.
Maybe. And so she's like, "What did Ramona say about me?" And she's all like, yeah. And so she talks about how, earlier she talked about how Ramona said she was dropped off by her mom at her grandma's and she never came back, yada, yada, yada. And then this one, Ramona tells about how she takes everything with her. And inside her purse is also, this was sweet. I agree. Also inside the picture, she carries a picture of herself as a young girl and a picture of Destiny as a young kid. And she's all like, maybe if we would have met each other when we were younger, we would have had each other's backs back then and things would have turned out differently. And I was like, oh, that's kind of sweet. Like, I wish you guys had met each other earlier in life and then maybe you would have, ended up as dirty whores and everything. But, shit happens. And then Destiny cries, and then we get like this little chunk of them in the back. Okay. So then it says
like the whole, here's what happened to so and
so it says Destiny pleaded guilty to grand larceny and attempted assault in exchange for 0 jail time. And I was like, oh, look at you, 0 jail time. And then Mercedes, oh no, hold on. I missed what's her face. Hold on, give it 2 seconds. Let me just get past the pictures and everything. I did love in this little end part, I did love all the paparazzi portion of it because I was like, who's taking pictures of you bitches? So it says Ramona was sentenced to 5 years probation. Also, I didn't think was that bad because they could have killed someone.
No, because don't Kiki and Annabelle actually serve jail time?
Yeah, but it's on the
weekend?
weekends. Get the fuck out of here. It says Mercedes and
I
Annabelle
was
serve
like, is
weekends
that real? Do
in
people
jail
really
for
go to
4
jail
months.
on
Yes,
just the
that is
weekend?
a thing. Yeah.
See, I'm not a
Weekend
criminal. I don't know these things,
Yeah,
but I
yeah.
do in the future. If I get convicted of
do.
something, can I
Well,
negotiate weekends only?
You're not gonna get that, you ass.
It's
You're gonna get
also think about
hard time.
think about the money they stole. So like they would get 50K in a single robbery.
Yeah.
And they did this countless times. How is that not a ton of time in jail?
I
Right.
agree. So, and the line that
Because
is very
probably
good,
some of the judges and attorneys prosecuting them were probably some of the clients.
The
probably,
clients, they see
but
hookers
it's
all
not
the time.
illegal to go to a strip club.
No,
Yeah.
but they don't want it out there that they were one of the victims.
I mean,
Yeah.
maybe. Okay, so then J Lo says this line in the movie where she says, "This country is just one big strip club. Some of you are doing the dancing, and some of you are paying, the dancers or whatever." And I was like, "Oh, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. I like that."
Mhm.
And then we get this little celebration dance at the end where, like we said before, where Lucy Liu cannot dance. Like she is just like, look at everybody moving their hips, and she's just like,
look at
sweet. Even wiggling her ass is hard for her. I'm all
she
like,
is
sweetie.
totally like, she looks like she's at a junior high dance, in a gymnasium.
She's off rhythm. She can't keep a beat, and I'm all like, oh my goodness, don't fit into the stereotype, honey. Come on. All right,
Too late, already done.
too late. Okay, so and that's the end of the movie and everything. So I wanted to ask you guys if you wanted to, I'm going to ask a question at the end of this movie, but was there anything else that you wanted to talk about this movie that we didn't cover in our breakdown of this movie? Mantis, I'll start with you. Is there anything that we didn't cover that you wanted to talk about?
I think we explored pretty much everything, and I know I know you were like annoyed when we were taking moments, but I think we've taken enough moments about like we were dissecting the movie.
I just like to keep things moving. Vetta, what about you? Is there anything you wanted to talk about?
I think we covered everything that I loved, disliked, and went what the fuck about. So.
Right. I agree. Okay. Well, then here's my last question. Okay. Overall, what did you think about the movie? If you want to give it 1 out of 10, you can. Whatever you want to do. My second question is, would you recommend this movie? Mantis, what about you? What did you think, and would you recommend?
And so I'm actually going to give this movie 8 stars out of 10 or whatever, and I actually enjoyed this movie. Now, I agree. Here's what it is. I think collectively, our complaints and the things we were talking about, if it was added into it, the lesbianism, all sorts of the crazy stuff, the blowjob scene or whatever, that would have made it a 9. But I think it's a decent movie. I was actually surprised I ironically chose this movie. I thought it was going to be like, something to make fun of. But I surprisingly liked it. I do recommend it to people. Now, once again, I didn't give it a 9 or a 10. I don't think it's like a great movie, but I think it's a decent movie if you want to watch in the afternoon, right?
Right on. Vetta, what about you?
Kind of the same. I kind of go, all right, because I don't bootleg movies off of the internet. It's $3.79 on Amazon to rent or like $6.99 to purchase. I did purchase it mostly because it was a better deal. But I do also go that I'm not disappointed. Like sometimes I purchase movies that we review and I'm seriously like, I'm never getting that $5 back,
Or
whatever.
2 hours back, right?
Yeah. This one's not terrible. I mean, it had its moments. I do agree. I mean, I don't know if I would recommend it because I go, it's not everyone's cup of tea. Like if our mother says, oh, what have you reviewed lately? Should I watch it? I'm going to be like,
should
no.
I review that horror movie?
Exactly.
Horror movie.
That
I like how
horror
you said it like
movie.
a New Yorker.
Oh, no. Our mom's totally a yenta. 100%.
Yeah, she's a huge yenta. Yeah, she's like, I don't understand why you guys watch those movies about those whores. So
I wouldn't recommend it to my mother, but I would definitely recommend it to other people as it's a good time. It is. You do get laughs in some spots, like when they're cooking the drugs in the kitchen, and you do get the whole like, why are we seeing Lizzo and pasties? What's happening right now?
Okay, so I don't have anything that I want to talk about, but I say 10 out of 10 I would recommend because there's just so much going on in this movie. Like I was talking out loud about this movie the whole time. I'm like, that's not how science works. I'm like, I'm sorry, but you two are bad mothers in my opinion, if you ask me and everything. And I'm just like, but I would recommend this movie even to our mother because she would talk shit about it the whole time.
Oh, I was going to say, do you not remember when our brother recommended The Orange is the New Black to her? And she was mortified.
I didn't like it. And they started kissing in the shower. Disgusting.
You know what I realized? You know what also needed to be touched on toward the end? And I think a lot of movies have this problem with finales. They should have shown us exactly what happened with J-Lo's children. Because throughout the movie, they're constantly bringing them up. And then and later on, they're not important.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
they're-
like a little. Here's what happened to them after the fact. They went to Brown University, right? Just like Julia Stiles'
They
character.
became Rhodes Scholars or whatever.
That's
My
great,
mom
yeah.
was such a hooker.
we were well off because my mom was a big whore and a con artist. Okay, well, if we don't have anything else to add to all of this nonsense, I'm going to just say thank you guys so much for listening. Make sure to, stop. Before we end this podcast, Mantis, tell everybody where they can find you at.
What up, party people? So I am a live streamer over on Bigo Live. That's an app right there. And so that's a social stream situation, but I'm streaming at least 40 hours a month, right? So please check me out there. And then also you can find my radio show on rizradio.com or the Live 365 app or wherever digital radio is found. And those, I do my shows on Saturdays and Sundays at 6 to 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Right on. Yeah, it's always a good time. We will leave the link and for the description for all that and down below and all that good stuff. All right, but again, thank you so much, you guys, for listening to us. Make sure to follow us on Twitter at BSDrunkPod to stay updated. Now, if you listen to us on Apple Podcast or Spotify, you guys, we would really appreciate it if you could leave us a 5-star review. You have no idea how much it helps us out, and again, we do appreciate it immensely. We'll also be posting the video version of this, like I said at the beginning of this, to our YouTube channel. So be sure to check us out there. And that's at YouTube at BS Drunk Movie Reviews. Subscribe and like, all that good stuff. And comment. Nobody ever comments. Also, you guys, we do respond to your comments. So also, you guys, we do have a Patreon if you guys are interested. And we have plenty of different levels to suit whatever needs. And over there, we do we review movie series and franchises and stuff. So go ahead and check it out. You guys, I'm pretty sure you guys will like it. The link for that will be in the description down below also. But most importantly, you guys, please don't forget to drink, recap, review, and repeat. Bye, you guys.
Bye. Ciao for now.